Every man wants to protect something. It's woven into the fabric of you long before you ever knew what the word meant. You feel it when your younger brother gets picked on, when your mother cries behind a locked door, when the woman you love reaches for you, not because she's weak, but because for a moment the world's weight has bent her spine. And in that moment, something ancient stirs in your chest, a vow you didn't say out loud, but that echoes louder than any word. Nothing touches them unless it goes through me. But here's the truth no one tells you. Wanting to protect isn't the same as being able to. We live in a time where men are told their instincts are either dangerous or outdated, that the urge to guard, to provide, to carry should be domesticated, tamed, filtered through something more palatable. And so a lot of men end up playing dress-up with masculinity. They wear the shell, lift weights, talk tough, get money, but inside, they're fragile, easily provoked, spiritually hollow. And when life tests them, when their loved ones actually need them to be a rock, they crack. Marcus Aurelius knew something most modern men don't, that the world doesn't care about your feelings in the moment of crisis, that the people who depend on you don't need your potential, they need your presence. And you cannot give them that if you are ruled by chaos inside, if you lose your mind over small inconveniences, if your moods own you, if your body's strong but your will is weak, if you don't know how to suffer without lashing out. To protect others, you must first become dangerous to yourself, not in the sense of harming, but in the sense of being able to face what's inside you without flinching. That's what Marcus was trying to teach. Not emotional suppression, but dominion, rulership over your reactions, authority over your impulses, the ability to respond, not just react, because you cannot guard the door of anyone else's life if your own house is on fire. And this is where most men get it backwards. They chase the image of strength first. They think if they can just be louder, richer, more respected, the world will fall in line. But real mastery doesn't start in the gym or the office. It starts in silence, in solitude, in the moments when no one is watching and you still choose discipline. When you still show up not for applause, but because you gave yourself an order and you intend to follow it. That is the birthplace of a protector, a man who doesn't need a stage to prove his power, a man whose inner life is forged like steel, so when storms come, and they will, he doesn't break. He adjusts. He steadies. He shelters others not by bravado, but by example, by being the one in the room who doesn't panic, who doesn't lash out, who doesn't crumble. And make no mistake, people feel it. Your kids don't need you to be perfect. They need to know that when things fall apart, you don't. Your woman doesn't need you to be unfeeling. She needs to know you feel everything and still choose calm. Your brothers don't need you to talk tough. They need you to be the one who doesn't run when the pain gets real. But you can't give any of that if you haven't earned it yourself. And that's where Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, alone in his tent, writing by candlelight, becomes a mirror for every man who ever asked, how do I become the kind of man that others can lean on? He wasn't writing for the public. He was writing to himself, daily, brutally, reminding himself that his thoughts shape his fate, that his emotions are real, but not always true, that peace is not found in escape, but in endurance, that no matter how high you climb, if you haven't mastered your inner world, the outer one will devour you. He wasn't born stoic, he became it, word by word, thought by thought. That's the process every man who wants to protect something must enter. Not a sprint to power, but a slow, almost invisible carving away of everything weak, impulsive, self-indulgent, and cowardly in you, until what's left isn't perfect, but prepared. You cannot protect anyone if you're still at war with yourself. And if that sting's good, it means you still have a conscience. It means some part of you knows that the mission is bigger than comfort, that the stakes are higher than your ego, and that one day, someone you love will face a battle, and they'll turn to you. What will they find? A man they can trust, or just another boy in armor?
Most men wait until it's too late. until the house is already burning, until the relationship is already unraveling, until their own child looks at them with eyes that no longer believe. Then they scramble, panic training discipline, buying books they won't finish, going to war with habits that have been rotting quietly for years. But the truth is, mastery isn't built in emergency, it's built in the ordinary, in the small hours, in the decisions no one will ever applaud. Marcus Aurelius didn't need modern psychology to understand this. He knew that the greatest battles a man will ever fight happen in private, between duty and comfort, between impulse and integrity, between desire and restraint. And the tragedy is that most men lose those battles before the sun even rises. They roll over instead of rising, numb out instead of showing up, distract instead of confronting, and then wonder why their lives feel out of control, why the people around them don't trust their leadership, why they can't seem to hold on to peace for more than a few hours at a time. Mastery begins by killing the illusion that anyone is coming to save you. No mentor, no father figure, no podcast, no God will do the daily grind for you. They can inspire you, but inspiration fades. What endures is discipline, and discipline is earned through repetition. It is born when a man stops arguing with reality, when he stops needing the world to be softer and starts becoming harder to break. That doesn't mean becoming cold. It means becoming tempered. There's a kind of man who walks into a room and says nothing, but everyone feels it. Not because of his money, not because of his looks, but because of the calm he carries, because he has met himself in the dark, because he has buried weakness without bitterness. He has felt the storm rage inside him and did not flinch. He has looked in the mirror, not for affirmation, but for confrontation. And what you feel in his presence is not dominance, it's gravity. You want to protect others? Become that man. Because it's not always about violence. It's not about throwing punches or standing 6'2". Most of the threats in modern life are invisible. Emotional disconnection, financial stress, mental collapse, spiritual apathy. You don't fight those with fists. You fight them with frameworks, with patience, with consistency, with a mind that doesn't unravel every time things don't go your way. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, but he wrote like a soldier. You get the sense, reading Meditations, that he understood something most modern leaders forget. You don't rule well until you've ruled yourself. He practiced self-governance like a religion, asked himself daily if he had been reactive, indulgent, entitled. And when he had, he didn't excuse it, he corrected it, privately, without needing anyone to clap for him. That's the kind of man who can protect others, the kind who doesn't need an audience to be excellent. And that's where modern men fall into the trap. Too much image, not enough substance. They think protection is a moment, a big speech, a heroic act, a dramatic sacrifice. The real protection happens in the mundane. It's built in how you speak when you're tired, how you handle money, how you listen to pain, how you stand your ground without destroying others. It's in how your daughter sees you treat her mother, how your friends see you handle failure, how you treat your own body, your own word. There's no faking that, and you shouldn't want to. Because when the time comes, when your family is lost and looking for your eyes, when your brothers are worn down and looking for your steadiness, when your woman needs to know she's safe, not just physically, but emotionally, what will rise in you must be something you built when no one was watching. Self-mastery doesn't make you invincible. It makes you trustworthy. And the world is starving for trustworthy men. Men who can stand in the middle of chaos without spreading it. Men who can hold the line when everyone else folds. Men who can offer peace because they practice it, not because they preach it. But you can't give what you haven't earned, and you cannot protect what you haven't prepared for. Every day, the clock is ticking. Not toward your death, but toward your moment. That inevitable test when someone smaller, more vulnerable, more uncertain than you will look at you with wide, searching eyes. And they will ask the question with their silence, are we going to be okay? You won't have time to prepare then. You'll only have what you are. So ask yourself, what right now are you building?
Most men spend their lives running from the mirror. They decorate it with goals, hide it behind distractions, blur it with noise. Anything but look, anything but see what's actually there. But Marcus Aurelius kept his mirror close.
Every day, he wrote, not for praise, but for clarity. He reminded himself that a man's outer world is nothing but a reflection of his inner one. If you are chaotic inside, you will breed chaos outside. If you are weak inside, those closest to you will pay the price. You don't need to believe in ancient philosophy to understand that. Just look around. Look at your father. Look at your friends. Look at yourself. The man who has not mastered himself will always protect from the wrong place. He'll act out of fear. He'll lash out in the name of protection, but really, he's just reacting. He'll be possessive, not protective, controlling, not calming, loud, not grounded. That's not strength. That's insecurity dressed as leadership. You can't lead others out of darkness when you're still lost in it yourself. Marcus Aurelius never claimed to be perfect. That's what made him dangerous. He knew he had flaws, and he stared them down anyway. That's what self-mastery is. Not becoming flawless, but becoming responsible for your flaws, owning them, learning from them, outgrowing them. So that one day, when you're called to act, not talk, act, you don't collapse under the weight of your unresolved weakness. You must become a fortress, not a wall to keep people out, but a sanctuary to keep them safe. That means emotional control, not repression, control. It means spiritual clarity, not certainty, but orientation. It means knowing who you are and what you serve before the storm comes. Because when it does, the time for figuring yourself out is over. You've already seen the cost of men who didn't do this work. Maybe you grew up in their wake. Maybe you still carry their damage. A father who couldn't keep his anger from spilling into the house. A brother who folded under pressure and dragged everyone down with him. A friend who betrayed trust the moment it became inconvenient. None of them were evil. They were just unprepared. They never mastered themselves, so their attempts to protect became destruction. That cycle ends with you, or it repeats. There is no neutral here. So what does it mean to master yourself? It means choosing discomfort before the world forces it on you. Waking early when you want to sleep. Training when you want to scroll. Apologizing without justifying, enduring without dramatizing. It means having principles that are not for sale. It means being slow to speak and quick to carry. It means having a soul that can bleed but does not break. You don't do this to be impressive. You do this so that when the people you love are at their worst, you can be at your best. Because that's the real test. Not how you act when everything's going well, but who you become when life caves in. When the job disappears, when the diagnosis comes, when the people you swore to protect fall to their knees. That's when it matters. That's when they'll look to you. Not to fix everything, just to not fall apart. Just to be a present that says, without saying, we're going to be all right because I won't run, I won't rage, I won't disappear. I will stand. And to stand like that, you must first kneel before your own flaws, before your own truth, before the brutal discipline of becoming a man worthy of trust. It's not sexy, it's not glamorous, it's daily, grueling work. But on the other side of that is something most men never touch. Peace. Not the peace of numbness, the peace of earned strength. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor. You're not, but you're still a ruler. You rule over your own body, your own mind, your own decisions. And the more seriously you take that, the more reliable you become. The more protection you can offer, not because you say so, but because your life proves it. So don't ask for more power. Don't fantasize about being the man others look up to. Earn it. Be so disciplined in your habits, so rooted in your values, so clear in your mind, that when the world tries to shake you, it finds you immovable. And not just for your sake, but for the people you swore you'd never let down. That's what it means to master yourself. That is how you earn the right to protect others.
And that, as Marcus Aurelius would tell you if he could, is the only power that truly lasts. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.